what came before God then? They're just like blanking out. They don't have an answer to that because it doesn't make sense.
Yes,
And
that's right.
why does it have? They can wrap their brains around like why does anything have to have a beginning? Why can't something just exist from the start?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess people use God to explain what they can't understand. You know, if someone can't understand why a ball
Yeah,
moves,
like,
they
true.
explain God. You know, they're not scientists, and it's okay. They don't have to be scientists to understand this
Nah,
stuff.
but my problem with like religion, I'm an atheist by the way. My
Yes.
problem with religion is like I rely a lot of science and is very intrigued by science, and
Yes.
it's a big time of my free time.
Yeah.
And what the problem I see with religion is that it's blind trust. It's the trust in
That's right. Yeah.
somebody says thousands of years ago. You know, when the Bible wasn't written
Yes.
like hundreds of years after Jesus'
Thousands.
death. So it's a translation of people telling people stories and
Yeah.
stories from their mothers and parents and from their grandmothers and parents. So it's a story that keeps evolving. I believe like parts of the Bible is true. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I believe there was a guy named Jesus who was very charismatic and
He's a
had a
person.
maybe had a big application for society, but he wasn't this holy man who could do healing by something by a miracle touch. He was maybe a sort of like doctor who had a
Yes.
lot of
Absolutely.
knowledge, and people
Yeah.
saw it as like a holy thing because it
It was
was
inexplainable to
something
them.
they
Yeah.
didn't see.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of what religion was people not understanding and misinformation about certain
Yeah.
parts of what we consider religion today
Yeah.
used to exaggerate it up until it became this ground for explaining things people can wrap their brains around.
Yeah. Totally. I completely agree with you. For sure.
Real quick, I was listening to a little bit of that, and I think I might disagree with a few points.
Yeah. Good.
Mhm.
Yeah, uh, so there were two main things that I would probably disagree on. One is how the Bible was compiled as a canon, and two would be that people just rely on faith for Christianity, and it's no reason, no rationality behind it. That's what I would disagree on.
Okay.
I didn't say there
What
was
basis would you
no
disagree on?
I was saying that it's there. You haven't any proof of a God existing. You have nothing solid. You have no test you can go out do and like show this is the result of this. The only thing you can prove it by is people telling stories and have told them for thousands of years. And to start with, for the first many years, it was just like mouth to mouth. It wasn't anything written down. It was from one person to another for generations. So it's a lot of like saturation and a lot of like
Well, hold on. So,
mismatched information.
yeah, okay. So, you said that we need proof for God. Where would this area be where we require proof for God?
Now, I didn't say we needed it. I just said I don't believe in
Well,
it if I can't have any physical like evidence of a God being there. I don't want to believe in anything I can replicate or can't see.
okay. So, do you think that science is the only way that we can test whether or not things are true?
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay. So, why do you believe that philosophy?
Because it's provable and
Because
recreatable. You can recreate
yes,
science.
and
So,
especially
hold
the
on.
recreatable part.
So, so that claim right there that science is the only way that you can prove things. Where's the
Mhm.
scientific evidence behind that statement itself?
What that you can prove things because I can get
Well,
a
that's circular
microscope and look
reasoning.
under it and see biology, or I can, you know, um, I can look up at the stars with a telescope and see. the things that scientists have claimed are there, and I can see them. I can confirm that
Okay,
I see them.
so real quick, I
The
don't think that
difference.
you're getting my point. Hold on. The claim, because I asked y'all this question of whether or not science is the only way that we can prove things. Y'all said yes. So I'm asking
Yeah.
that claim right there. How can you prove that claim using science?
You can't. It's
You
not
can't,
how that's
exactly.
work, man.
So then we
Nah,
can
nah, nah.
rely on other
Nah,
things like philosophy.
that's nah. That's a different way of thinking. You can't do you use it in that way, man.
Why can't I use it in that way? What's the issue?
You can't
Well, I mean,
explain.
no, I guess science is a math and logic and history and philosophy,
Yeah,
other things
yeah.
too.
Yeah, so we can use different fields than just science. Doesn't have to only be science. We can use fields like
Yeah,
philosophy.
but science is the provable, or science is a ground which we can use evidence to support hypotheses
Yeah, but not
surrounding
necessarily.
certain things we. Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, not
science.
necessarily.
Science.
Well,
I
science
mean, yes,
and
science is very
philosophy
useful
work together
for
all the time.
explaining things in the natural realm, but it doesn't tell us if there is a supernatural realm, and thus it doesn't tell us if there is anything in that supernatural realm. So for that, we'd need to appeal to
But
different things like
science can't
philosophy.
do that.
How?
Science can
Wait,
tell
hold on.
everything.
Science can tell us different
S-
kinds of philosophies. Like, or sorry, it
Science
can
can
tell
tell
us.
everything.
Explain
Okay,
why
so
philosophy doesn't
so
support that.
how can science tell us about the supernatural realm? Can you explain that to me?
I don't know yet. We don't know yet.
So you
Science
just made a
is
claim and you don't
no
have
no
any
no.
evidence for it. So yeah,
No, but
It it,
supernatural.
if you make a claim,
it's as we talked about before.
hold
Everything
on,
has
slow
to
down,
have an
man, slow
end.
down.
According every people, it has to be an end. I can't explain what happened before the Big Bang. I don't know. We haven't figured that out, but that doesn't mean we can't explain it with science. It just means that we can't explain it yet. We haven't figured out the way to figure out, to
So
measure, to
hold on.
see what we
I'm
have.
not even
That doesn't
talking
mean you
about.
can't do it.
I'm not even talking about the Big Bang in particular. I'm talking about just
No,
the
no, no.
way
I
that
know.
you.
I'm using
Oh,
an
hey brother,
example.
don't. Hey brother, don't interrupt me, okay? Don't interrupt me, all right? Thank you. So, as I was saying, can you tell me what science tells us about the supernatural realm?
I don't
You
know.
can't use the supernatural realm
So,
because
we don't know if
no.
there is a
You can't
supernatural
say
realm.
science cannot
No,
use the supernatural.
hey host,
Just say the
I was
supernatural is
talking
real.
first. All right, I was talking first. Let's slow down. All right, so since I was talking first, I'll just continue. So, if it explains nothing about the supernatural realm, and if we don't even know what it says about the supernatural realm, then I don't think that we should be making claims otherwise. Because
But what
otherwise, we're just
proves there
making
is a
this.
supernatural realm?
Well, I'm making the negative claim. You made the positive claim that it does tell us about the supernatural realm. I asked you for evidence. You didn't have any, so I'm just saying that we should
Nah,
probably
I
avoid
said
that
it
in the
can.
future. Okay, then
I said it
provide
can.
evidence. Provide evidence for that.
But brother, okay. So you're claiming that there is one, and I'm claiming
Yeah,
there
yeah.
isn't one.
Okay. Can you provide
And I'm
evidence for
claiming,
that?
can you divide? Now, my evidence is there is no evidence. My evidence is
What?
going on that we have
Yeah, I
observed
think that
so many
that's
things and we have nothing
yeah.
observed like
So
in a spiritual way in that way. What's your proof that it does exist?
I don't need to provide any because I took the negative stance on the claim. You took the affirmative, and you can't provide any proof. So don't make any assertions if you
But
don't
you
have
can't either.
evidence.
My proof is
Because I
that I
don't
don't
have
have
to.
proof.
That's the entire point. I don't have to if I take the negative
But why
approach
don't you?
to the claim. Because I took the negative approach to a claim. That's how debate works. If
Bro,
you take the affirmative,
nah, it's
the
not.
burden of proof is on you.
Nah, man, you
That's
still
how
need to
debate
prove
works.
your point. You still need to prove your point of the side,
No,
man.
not under formal debate.
Yeah,
Yeah, under
yeah.
formal debate, I do
You
not
still
have
need,
to. This is basic stuff, man. If you're on the affirmative, you
bro.
have
I
to
don't
provide the
think you
proof.
know
I don't
how
have
to
to.
defend your own side anymore. I
Yeah, this
don't
is
think you know
projection,
how
brother.
you defend
Yeah,
your own
so
side
as I was
anymore.
saying, so what's the evidence for the claim? Do you have any?
There is no evidence. The
Okay,
evidence
so then it's
for
just a
there
baseless
is
assertion.
nothing
So I
is
can
the
just start.
evidence.
Okay, so brother, I can just start making baseless assertions right now and not provide evidence. We can do that all day. I can do that all day.
It is
So,
evidence.
how is that evidence? That there is no evidence.
If
It's a
you make
contradiction. The
millions
evidence
and
is no
millions of
evidence.
experiments and you don't find anything at all, that's an experiment that shows there is anything. There is nothing. So you have a proof that when you have done a million of these, there is a higher. I definitely agree. There is a chance there is something, but when we have done the number of tests we have and stuff we do, the chance is higher that there is nothing than there is. So
So,
it
but it's
is
still
the proof
possible.
I have.
So it's
It's
about
definitely
likelihood.
still possible, but the
So
chances are
then why are
lower
you
that
saying that
there's
God is
nothing.
definitely not real? Why'd you
I
make that
didn't say
definite claim?
definitely. I said I don't believe it because the numbers is not in favor of it.
The numbers aren't in favor of it. Okay, so why are we judging God by the standards of science? Whenever he would, by definition, be part of the
We're
supernatural realm.
judging God's existence by what we can prove, and if I cannot prove God's existence, I'm not going to believe in God. If
Yeah, well,
there's a
God
time
Exactly.
by
when we can study
definition
the
exists.
listen to
Well,
me, listen to me. If we can
okay,
study the
yeah.
supernatural realm and prove it, then I will believe in God.
Okay, so
Definitely.
which field would we use for that? Would we use science?
Like you said, it could be supernatural field that we don't have any idea about, we haven't studied. It could
Yeah,
be,
so we can
we don't
use
know.
a different field other than science. That would be philosophy.
But we
So,
can't because philosophy isn't something that you can prove. Philosophy can be a subjective thing. So
okay, so do
your
you think that
Philosophy
philosophy
is
about
a
so
living
feeling
hold
or a
on,
God
hold on.
thought.
Do you
my
think that
philosophy.
truth is subjective?
Well, depends on the context
I
of the
don't.
truth that you're telling.
Any truth. Do you think that truth is subjective?
I don't.
Okay, so
No,
then it's objective, and philosophy helps us discover what is
no,
true, just like
philosophy
science
isn't
does. Therefore, I
truth.
don't think that it's subjective. So, no, I
Brother,
disagree
you
there.
Language
can't.
is a truth.
Those two things are separate things. Philosophy is
No,
thoughts and
they're
feelings.
they're
Science is hard
distinct, but they're not
proof.
separate. They're distinct, but they're not separate.
They are definitely
You can't
separate.
have truth if you don't even know what truth is. How you determine what
Okay,
truth
then
is
what
would
determines
be
your
shown in
philosophical
fields
truth
like
over mine?
science. Sorry, what?
What determines your philosophical truth over a Taliban's philosophical truth?
Yeah, so we judge the laws of logic, and the Taliban would subscribe to Islam, which violates the laws of logic.
Okay, explain the laws of logic for me.
The laws of logic, or the laws of thought, would be the law of identity: A equals A, and A does not equal not A. It's very simple, but it's the most basic one. Then we have the law of non-contradictions, where two positive claims go against each other. So it'd be like me saying that A equals A and A equals B and A equals not B at the same time and in the same sense. So then the law of excluded middle would be two negative claims that go against each other. So those would be like if I said that A is neither B nor is it not B. So it's this weird third option. Well, that would not work. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm agreeing with you. I'm not saying philosophy is useless. It definitely matters and logic matters and all that. But a philosophical argument only proves something if the logic is valid and the premises is true.
Well, I mean, I think that something can be logical but not true. So, I mean, it
But
just helps us
okay, so
deduce what
for
is true.
example, the philosophical argument that everything needs a cause is
Yeah.
disputed, right? The
Okay, well,
universe needs a cause is disputed. There must be a necessary thing is disputed.
okay, so just
If
because
the
a
argument is
belief.
logically structured, that does not mean the conclusion is true. If one premise
Yeah,
is wrong,
that's what I'm saying.
or
But we can. But my
argument
point is in
fails.
mentioning that though is that we can disprove other belief systems if they violate these laws. That's my point in bringing that up. So with the
The premise
cosmological
proves
argument
what,
that
regardless.
well, yeah, but we can disprove other belief systems using the laws of logic. That's my point. So also, just because a proof is disputed doesn't mean that it's inherently wrong. So I don't know what kind of argument that was against the cosmological argument of God.
that still doesn't make sense because you can't prove your philosophy. How do we know that our logic and philosophy is, well, not logic, but philosophy is the correct one?
Okay, so which theory of time do you hold to?
Um,
A theory, B theory, or C theory?
probably, um,
Do you know what the?
probably.
It's fine if you.
I
It's
do,
fine
I
if you
do,
don't know
yeah.
the
Probably,
different
probably,
theories.
probably A theory. Probably
Okay.
A theory.
Yeah, and I would agree
I
with
would
you.
say.
At least from our perspective, I think that A theory holds the most true. So if we go with A theory, we can see that things have potential and things have actuality. For example, it is an actual thing that I am living. My existence is actualized because I'm actually in existence. But then I also have the potential to get a paper cut because I was messing around with paper, did something stupid, then cut my finger. Right? I have the potential to do that. Doesn't mean that I will do that, but just means that I have the potential to. So if we look at that, we see that anything with potential is worthy of change. And also anything with potential cannot be the first cause because it changes intrinsically. So then we go back and then we determine what the first cause must be. And that would be actus purus, and that would be God, because God does not
But
change
what became,
intrinsically.
but what came before God then? If
You're
you
not
have
understanding the
something
point.
to
By
start with,
classical, no, hold on. Classical theism defines God as a maximally great being. This means that he possesses the omni attributes, atemporality, immutability, and impassibility. So if he's atemporal, he exists outside of God. Therefore, there was no before God.
but you're still disproving yourself. You're still saying something
How
has
am
to
I
be
disproving
before something
myself?
can be.
Can you show that?
You're still saying something has to be before it can be, and it it doesn't matter what you call it. It's
Well,
still
that thing
something
is
before
God.
some.
That thing is just what we call God.
But what before God? You're
Did you not
still
hear what I
saying
said?
God is
Okay, okay.
something
So do you? So
in
do you know what?
no,
Hold
no,
on,
no.
hold on, hold
But
on. No, no. You ask a question. I can answer. Do you want me to answer?
because I wasn't done
You
with the
don't want me
question.
to answer?
Now I wanted to
Yeah,
specify
sure,
this.
sure. Specify, please.
All right, finish this
Yeah,
topic, then we're gonna move on to other people.
when you are actively talking about God, you're making something out of nothing. When you're
How?
just like talking about it, there is something.
Yes, there is actus
Are we
purus.
are
There's
we
God.
on the same? Yeah. So we are
Yep.
in
So
the same space. Gods exist, right?
yes, God is
So if God
isness
exists,
itself.
what became? Yeah, and you said nothing could exist before something existed. So what was before God still?
No, no. God is atemporal. Do you know what that means? Atemporality.
Yeah, but it still doesn't make sense, man.
So can you define atemporality for me, since you know it?
No,
Can you define
no,
atemporality for me, since you know it?
no.
You can't,
I
or
can't.
you don't want to.
No.
It's like it's independent from time.
Yeah, it's independent of time. It's outside of time, or it's beyond time. So if we're speaking about before, then that would imply that it
But you
exists
still
in
have
time.
something in that state.
Hey, brother, I'm gonna need you to listen to me very carefully. Whenever we're talking about before something, are we talking about that thing being in time or out of time?
Oh, what? Can you repeat?
When we're talking about something before something else, are we talking about those things being in time or out of time?
Both.
Both. Okay,
You
no,
can't.
no, no. I need to.
You
I
can't
need.
have something.
So that violates the
You
law of
can't have something
non-contradiction.
outside time because if you have something outside time, it means that there is an inside time, and then you still have something. And again, before you can have something
I think that
before
time
you have
itself is
like, after you
created.
have to have something before.
All
I
right,
think that time
we're gonna
itself
wrap it
is
up, guys.
created.
You both very good debaters. Thank you so much, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.